Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.
Hello and welcome to another very super special episode of my podcast, The Sound of Money. Over the year, we have had some amazing guests, and I'm adding one more feather in that cap of The Sound of Money with a truly amazing person who is multi-talented, multitasking, and I can't tell you, his LinkedIn profile is equally amazing, and I'm going to talk a little more about that. But first, let's welcome our guest on The Sound of Money podcast, Dr. Deepak Jain. Hello, sir, and welcome to The Sound of Money.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here. It's a
Most
pleasure
welcome.
to be there. Yeah.
Sure, most welcome. So, Mr. Deepak Jain, he's the founder director, India and South Asia for Wealth and Financial Trainings for the American Academy of Financial Management. Apart from that, of course, we'll talk a lot about AAFM a little later on in the show. He's also the founder director and a very important subject space for a lot of us Indians, all into estate planning and attorney, wills and trusts. And he is the founder director of Next Gen Estate Planning Solutions. We'll try and catch. In fact, this needs another special episode with him, but we'll have a bit of a touch and go on this subject space. But what is equally and most interesting, listeners, is his passion on financial literacy and investor awareness, for which ever since January of 2015, he's the managing director of financial literacy and investor awareness, which is FLAB, and the LinkedIn profile. Actually, I must read out to you where he mentions he's so passionate about the space that he has trained as many as 45,000 plus individuals and 30,000 plus wealth managers, and that's in one life. It's amazing. And one is the profession which we all do, and one is the passion. And I, just like me, I always say the passion takes overrides, and keeps you going. So, Dr. Jain, just welcome to my podcast. There's so much to talk to you about. I want to start off on your passion first, on training managers, training wealth advisors. Talk a little bit about FLAB. How did this whole idea come up, and why in the first place?
So basically, we launched this company called American Academy of Financial Management, which is a subsidiary of a US organization.
Uh-huh.
Right. So while we were launching that, that was more focused towards the advisor space. So how do you train wealth managers, mutual fund distributors, etc. But what we found was that the common person doesn't understand money.
Yeah.
Right? So they have so much misconceptions about money. They had so much emotional baggage about money and things like that. So we thought it would be very good if we could train normal, common individuals on skills of money management.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think the best advisor to your money is you yourself.
True.
There cannot be a better advisor than that.
Yeah.
So if I can teach you how to fish, it's best rather than somebody else fishing it for you and doing it. Right. So that's where the idea came, and we have done remarkably well in teaching people, doing these sessions, etc., for common individuals and across the spectrum. Across the spectrum, we have done it. We have done it for defense personals, right? And where we make it a point to go to the grassroots.
Yeah.
Right. We go to the Anganwadi workers and all those stuff. So that's the place where it's required the most.
Yeah.
Right. Because the vulnerability is the highest there.
True.
Right. And a small thing like maybe a 500 rupee SIP would change their life forever.
Agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you can motivate them, bring out those fears which they have about the markets, about the investments, where they have some traditional way of investing which might not work in today's new age. Right. So you lower those fears, give them the confidence that what would you be deciding is good for you in the long term, and things like that. That really helps.
Yeah.
Right. But I would say every organization has a limitation.
True.
Right. So you can do whatever you can do within the resources provided, but the mission is still on. So we are still not a $5 trillion economy. So by then I think we should be able to make every Indian financially literate. That's the mission.
Wonderful. That's a great, really amazing mission to look forward to. And especially the question that I have next for you is, I'm sure over the years you have seen, in terms of the financial literacy itself, the awareness levels have increased thanks to AMFI, thanks to a lot of the mutual fund sector itself, and the awareness more so in the SIP space has increased. Do you see that increasing trend more so in the tier 2, tier 3 cities and towns of India?
Yes, the awareness has gone up, but still much needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
We have just scratched the surface,
Uh-huh.
right? So especially in the tier three towns, right? So there the awareness level is going up, but
Yeah.
they are yet to leave their old inhibitions,
Mm.
right? So you might make them aware, but are you making them act on that awareness?
Yeah.
That's where the real challenge is, right? So they know a mutual fund SIP is a good thing, it might be good, but what is the kind of SIPs they are doing, right? Are they
Mm.
still not investing in gold and property?
Yeah.
That's still their main investment. So
Correct.
and maybe for them it's right, yeah. So you can't over the years I have judged is you can't judge people's financial decisions.
Mm.
You can only influence them to make them aware of there's another possibility which you should try,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's in the end, it's their money, their decision. So we as people living in the metro cities and the higher ups are no one to judge their actions,
Agree.
right? So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very good point you made because every society, the ecosystem around it, right, builds their expectations and their kind of investment patterns. But as you rightly say, you guys try to, make a difference, maybe a positive difference, and it's up for the end user to decide or the investor to decide what he or she really feels suits them the best. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you, Dr. Jain, about the American Academy of Financial Management, and more so the awards that are coming up, which are a recognition of the industry itself and the advisors. Tell us a little more about the institution and also what are these awards aimed at?
we set up American Academy of Financial Management in year 2012. So it's been
Hmm.
13 years since we are running the organization.
Yeah.
And the basic purpose of this organization setting up was that I have worked into finance and related fields in finance. So I worked with the insurance, I worked for mutual funds, banks, etc. So there is a considerable gap between what's taught in school, colleges, etc., and what actually happens on the field,
Hmm.
right? I can make you mutual fund literate,
Yeah.
right? But can I make you aware of what goes in the client's mind when he's investing?
Mm.
That practicality is missing somewhere in our education system, and it's a different world out together when you go out in field and do these plannings.
Yeah.
We wanted to bridge that gap, right?
Hmm.
And all our courses are made in a way that they allow advisors to act on field, right? They understand the technical and the human side of wealth.
Yeah.
That human side of wealth is what is missing in most financial education today, and
Hmm.
that's the gap we wanted to fill.
Yeah.
We wanted to make a advisor or an intermediary ready to manage the wealth of their clients and focus on three aspects of wealth management, which I'm sorry are very ignored areas.
Hmm.
Right? Most people only concentrate on wealth enhancement of their clients.
Yeah.
They do not talk about wealth protection and transfer,
Mm.
which might be as important as enhancement of wealth.
Yeah.
Right? Those elements are missing. Right? Then there's something else happening in India. One, families are breaking like anything.
Mm.
That old family ecosystem where there was a backup plan always available for you is not there anymore.
Correct.
Right? Second, the discretionary incomes are going up. Right?
True.
You generally have double income families and they are not able to consume all what they are earning. So that their discretionary income and savings are going up like anything. Third, products are becoming very, very complex.
Mm.
Right? It would be impossible for a common person, maybe even for an advisor to uh,
Even understand
find
what
out
the, yeah. Mm.
and how to pitch it to the right person, how to
Mm.
match it to your other needs.
Yeah.
Product might be good, but it
Mm.
might not be good for this client,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Every product has a purpose, right? So are you able to do that, right? And lastly, the regulations are increasing like anything, right? It's
Mm.
becoming more regulated market.
Yeah.
Now, is my advisor or intermediary able to handle all of this?
Mm.
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
So they are, if we help them prepare for it, right, we can influence or impact more lives because these are people who would have 100, 200, 300 clients, and right, they say teach a mother and
Yeah.
you teach the entire family. So you teach
Yeah.
an advisor and you teach the entire clients,
Correct.
right? So that's the power of skilling an intermediary, and that was the
Mm.
purpose we started this American Academy of Financial Management.
Mm.
We had content which is US in nature, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it was maybe 15, 20 years ahead of India.
Yeah.
and we customized it into Indian ethos and Indian systems, so that the the essence is US for 20 years again, but the content is Indianized. So it's applicable here. And that's how we launched these programs like Chartered Wealth Manager, Chartered Trust and Estate Planner, Chartered Economist, and other Chartered Family Office Manager. It's a very popular program now.
Yeah.
So these kind of programs we launched based on this objective of ours.
Hmm.
Now, about the awards which we are giving out, this is the first time we are giving out these awards, and we want to honor people who have actually done these things,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? They have made difference in their clients' lives, right? They are AMCs who have come out with products which are more innovative in nature, more client-centric in nature,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Right? There will be advisors who have built systems which others need to follow to give better advice, better things. So we want to honor that community which is doing so much for the growth of the Indian financial ecosystem.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's our way of honoring them.
Wonderful. In fact, what it probably brings is, sharing of the best practices from the advisors, from the industry as a whole, also from the mutual funds, so that it's a kind of a congregation of, coming out and reaching out to the clientele. End of the day, it's what the client wants to know as an investor. And, there's so much of knowledge sharing and networking, of course, at that event. So, yeah, of course, very best wishes for the December 12th and 13th event, which is scheduled in
Thank
Mumbai.
you.
We look
Thank
forward to that. I also wanted to know from you, Dr. Jain, about the fact that you've been a trainer and you've trained so many individuals over the years. What are the kind of skill sets you feel are probably missing? Yes, I know you did touch a bit on that, but from a holistic standpoint, and more so from my audiences are a lot of youngsters, students, young professionals who probably want to go into that space and want to know more about, as a trainer, what is the kind of skill sets one should look for?
So first skill set is technical skills. You should know the theory of it,
Hmm.
right? And somehow we are not giving due importance to the basis of it, right?
Hmm.
We are not going deeper into the theory of it, right?
Hmm.
And I always say finance is all common sense,
Yeah.
right? In the end, it is all common sense. You just it's applied common sense somewhere, and you create money and so theory is very important. Second is the
Hmm.
practical. How do you practically implement that theory,
Hmm.
right? So what's the practical implementation? Third is the human side, and that's
Yeah.
the most important thing, because you are not selling to machines, you are selling to individuals.
Yeah.
You are motivating individuals, right? And
Hmm.
every individual would be different. So are you able to change your pitch and solution depending on the person you are meeting,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? Right? Same situations, two individuals would respond differently,
Yeah.
right? So what they said is they said robo advisory would take over the financial advisory business and the humans would pay out. It does not happen.
Yeah.
What is happening in India is something else. The robo advisors gather clients, and after a certain time, the human advisor takes over that client,
Completely agree.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Why is it that happening? Because the robo advisor cannot customize advice as per the human side of the person.
Yeah.
Right? It's not able to understand emotions and other things. So
Hmm.
that element needs to be built while teaching finance.
Hmm.
Two more things which are missing in Indian financial advisory system is one is cross-border investment planning knowledge. Right?
Yeah.
It is becoming very, very complex.
Hmm.
You have wealth in multiple countries. You are subject to various foreign exchange regulations in various countries. You are
Yeah.
subject to various tax residencies in various countries. There is restriction of what you can do, what you cannot do. There's a legal system. And the products are different,
True.
right? So is the Indian advisor able to help their clients who are non-residents, foreign
Hmm.
citizens,
Hmm.
right? So that's one area which requires lot of intervention from the training fraternity.
Yeah.
And last is about this wealth transfer and wealth protection planning knowledge.
Hmm.
That's entirely missing.
Yeah.
People think wealth transfer planning is a job of a lawyer or a chartered accountant. I am sorry to differ, right?
Hmm.
A lawyer or a chartered accountant waits for people to come to them and ask for advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
An advisor goes actively to people to give advice. So they are the best people to motivate them,
Yeah.
right? And they should have a basic knowledge. You might not master it, but at
Hmm.
least you should have a basic knowledge that you can give a first-hand information to your clients about these two very important aspects of wealth.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In fact, you touched upon so many important areas, right, that go along in the training package, if I would say so. For example, when it comes to product suitability, for example, is the advisor even knowing what kind of products he or she is selling, so that's where I think the human element comes in, and the robo and the AI and all probably won't really make a
Yeah,
huge
right,
difference
right,
there.
right,
The
right.
second thing, and I think it's an extremely important, with now with Gift City coming up, with Indians having wealth in their hands, want to invest abroad, or the others like Indians, NRIs who are abroad and want to invest in India. I think the FATCA CRS, the legal aspects of soliciting business, reaching out to customers when they are in other countries. I think these are very important factors you brought out, and I hope, and I'm sure you guys are making that extra concerted effort to bring the advisors to that, trying to bridge that knowledge gap. That's really interesting. Another very important space, sir, we have been working is on succession planning, and I think this is again a very important area. When I look at your profile, right, I also see the vision in you, because thought of these aspects, like from financial training, financial advisory, wealth and succession, and now also about cross border, because you saw India at a different strata, and now it's on a different trajectory for that matter. And with Indians earning now, the per capita increasing, I believe estate planning, inheritance planning is very, very key, not just in urban centers, but even in rural areas where the kids have gone abroad and they're not even thinking of coming back in India, and you have these properties just absolutely not attended to. You must have been interacting with so many such clients. What's been the interaction, and what are learnings for our listeners who are abroad now, and even for that matter in India, and what are the next steps one must to take forward?
So, so whenever I talk about this, I ask my clients one question, very simple.
Hmm.
I'll ask you two questions, right? When you go, will you leave your wealth or will you give your wealth?
Hmm. Yeah.
And there's a very small difference between those two,
Correct.
right? Second question I ask my clients is, if you die today, will you leave an inheritance or a mess for your children to sort out?
Hmm.
Right? So these two things trigger that emotion that it's all not well in my wealth ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right? I have left something very, very important which I have not planned for.
Hmm.
We all must strive to make our death beautiful, not ugly.
True.
Right? And we are not doing that. We are not doing it. Unfortunately, we are not doing that. And what are we leaving behind? We are leaving behind conflicts. And we are
Hmm.
destroying the relationship of our children because of our inaction. And that's the biggest punishment your children get if you don't do your wealth transfer planning properly.
Yeah.
Right? And I've been working with clients very, very actively on the wealth transfer part of it. In the next gen, I meet around 6 to 8 clients a day,
Hmm.
new clients on wealth transfer planning.
Hmm.
Right? The level of knowledge is missing and the level of intention is missing.
I
That's
see.
that's that's even more worrisome.
Hmm.
Right? They are not intending to do it. They say they'll take care of it somehow. Right? Let's not stir the hornet's nest. Right? Why should I prepone the problem?
Yeah.
Right?
And I
And
think it's
all
a
of
very
these,
sensitive issue, also very emotional, right? People don't even want to talk that point or discuss that
yeah,
subject.
yeah, and it's very important. It's
Absolutely.
very important. And when you talk about inheritance planning, I say it's 90% emotions.
Hmm.
Only 10% of it is like legality.
Yeah.
If you can solve that emotional puzzle now, the inheritance planning is done.
Hmm.
And we Indians are a little more emotional than maybe other people. So
Yeah.
that
Adds.
multiplies to the problem, right?
Hmm.
So I'll give you one or two emotional aspects to it. So just a precursor. If I ask most parents how would they divide their wealth amongst their children, their usual answer is equally.
Hmm.
I'll be fair to all children. I will give them equally and all those stuff. My counter question to them is equal fair? Very seldom equal is fair. You don't have two children who are same.
Correct.
They don't have the same family obligations. They don't have the same family structure. They don't have same family and personal goals, right? Yeah, they might not care for you the same,
True.
and you might not have spent same for them.
Hmm.
So how can you give wealth same?
Yeah. You're challenging the status quo. I think that's very exciting. You at least make that customer think, that's
Yeah,
where
because
amazing.
there's a multifaceted side.
Hmm.
You cannot say that my way of thinking is the correct way of thinking. My
Yeah.
job as a wealth advisor is to make him think the other sides.
Hmm.
Like I being a Jain, there is a principle in Jainism which is called Anekantvat, which basically says there's not one truth, there are multiple truths and all of them could be true.
Hmm.
So you have to look at things from multiple angles and then you come to know the real problem,
Yeah.
right? And that's very, very true for inheritance planning, right? It's such an emotionally charged subject. There are so many stakeholders and so many lives depend on it,
Yeah.
that your way of thinking as a wealth owner might not be the only way of thinking. That's
Hmm.
what
True.
people need to understand when they do their inheritance planning.
Hmm.
And uh, I have two uh, uh, two things to say about it.
Sure.
That I think every Indian should do inheritance planning and create at least four documents of inheritance planning.
Hmm.
One is a will, which most people know. Every Indian should have a will,
Yeah.
and that will should be made before they die.
Hmm.
And if they know their date of death before that date,
Hmm.
right? Right. So people say, no, I'll do it at 50, 60. I
Ha
say, write
ha.
down your date of death,
Correct.
right?
Good one.
Right. Right. Then you should have, if you have minor children, you should appoint their guardians,
Yeah.
custodians.
Hmm. Hmm.
In case you both pass away while the child is minor, who gets the custody of your child? That is your legal prerogative to decide.
Yeah.
Don't leave it to the law, because
Hmm.
law choice would not be your choice. Third, you should do incapacitation planning.
Hmm.
It's not about dying. It's
Yeah.
about it can be you're becoming incapacitated. You are in coma, paralytic, mentally unsound.
Yeah.
Under such situations, would be able to operate that wealth and as
Hmm.
per the conditions set by you.
Hmm.
For that, we create a document called Springing Durable Financial Power Account.
Hmm.
And lastly, your end of life decision should be in your hand.
Yeah.
Right? So
Hmm.
suppose you are on a ventilator for more than 15 days, less
Hmm.
than 5% chance of surviving.
Hmm.
Doctors keep you artificially alive and you are in lot of pain and losing wealth without
Yeah.
any use.
Yeah.
For that purpose, we create something called a living will,
Hmm.
which allows you to decide when to pull the plug, when to
Okay.
stop the machine and keep giving you pain. So at
Hmm.
least these four documents every Indian should create.
Hmm.
And most of them required a private family trust also.
Yeah.
So you need to do that inheritance planning. If you don't do it, whatever wealth you create would have no meaning for your family.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you touched upon the most sensitive and equally or more important points. And in fact, it's a complete topic of another podcast, and we should have one because it's quite an in-depth one. And Indians, as you rightly say, aren't aware of it. Even simple things like will, they just don't know what are the the intricacies or the nuances of that will. We must catch up again on another podcast. But before that, you've written. I don't know how you managed to get time, but you've written 26 plus books in spite of such a busy schedule. Any of the chosen ones that you would love to share about?
So I have written books on inheritance planning, which is
Hmm.
my passion right now. So I work a lot with clients, right? So I have seen the real side of inheritance planning, which goes
Hmm.
beyond legalities, right? So I have written books on testamentary succession, which is basically wills. I have
Hmm.
written books on private family trust because there are hardly any books in India on private family trust.
Yeah.
If you talk to a normal person about trust, they would think about a charitable trust. They don't know
Hmm.
the difference between a private
Ab-
trust and a charitable trust,
Correct. Hmm.
right? I have written books on inheritance planning as a system. So
Hmm.
how all clogs in inheritance planning should be matched so that it becomes a plan. I have written books on portfolio management, wealth management, etc.
Hmm.
Right? Economics. How do you marry economics for a financial advisor? So as a as an economist, I need to marry economics with financial markets and then and my client's financial portfolio.
Yeah.
So the judgment for a financial advisor, I read a news in economic
Yeah.
news, and I can judge what impact this news would have on my client's financial portfolio. So
Yeah.
right, so that's a book on that, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of books, so I have tried to be as practical as possible
Yeah.
and leave the jargons and theories behind and tell them what how it actually occurs, right? So
Okay.
that was the purpose of writing those books.
Wonderful. I see that, I want your views on the Viksit Bharat story, the India ahead story, because I see that, you started your career with, just like me, 25 plus years now, starting off with Andromeda marketing, being literally
Yeah.
on the ground there in 98 and now on a completely different level. The India that you saw in the late 90s to the India that you see now, where do you see India going ahead?
So I'll tell you a very interesting thing. I started my career selling Citibank liabilities,
Yeah.
right? So basically we were selling these current account, saving bank account, and fixed deposit for Citibank.
Hmm.
And there's a place in Delhi called Chandni Chowk,
Yeah.
right? So they asked us to sell it, and all people were going to South Delhi. They thought people there had money, and you had in that time you had a minimum average balance of 1 lakh rupees for
Wow.
a single account and 10 lakh rupees for a current account.
Imagine,
So
yeah.
they thought South Delhi is the place to sell. People in Chandni Chowk would not have money. So I come from that background. I'm a Jain, so I know. I said those people have the real money, not South Delhi.
Yeah.
So I started visiting Chandni Chowk.
Okay.
And their first thing I have to tell them is there is a machine which can vend money. They did not believe me. See, from that time, where have we come?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
To
And that's
UPI,
the
we
real
don't even need that machine now. ATMs.
I had to show them literally this is a card you'll get, and they would tell me who will count in the machine. Right? Those kind of questions you are getting, right? So where have we come from that place to today's India? We have really grown. If you really look back, this financial ecosystem in India has grown, and this has been the engine of revolution on which India is growing.
Yeah.
Right? The better we make our financial ecosystem, more growth we'll get. Right? Today, with these new schemes like uh, everybody having a bank account, etc., things are
The Jan
becoming
Dhan,
so
yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
So
The digital,
it's
yeah.
becoming right. So India is really progressing well, and it cannot progress well until the financial ecosystem progresses. And there we should commend our regulators, right?
Yeah.
Both SEBI and RBI, they have done wonderful work, and they have gone for that financial inclusion in the real meaning, right?
Absolutely.
How do I create regulations which actually help the grassroots person, right? So they have done a commendable job, and they have been the driving force behind what's happening in Indian financial ecosystem,
True.
right? So yes,
Absolutely.
and I am very sure we will be a developed country that nobody can stop us from being that.
Absolutely. Nobody can stop us from being there. I think it's the punch statement of this podcast. So one question before I let you go. You're so multifaceted, meetings, catch up with clients, the trainings that you undertake, the books that you write. I don't know if I missed something, but how is a day off for you if there is one? How do you unwind?
Keep on traveling. So and one point I made in last 5 years is I asked my wife to accompany me for all those places which I visit.
Wonderful.
So if I can't be with my family, I'll ask my family to be with me when I travel. So that's how we work. And for unwinding, I like reading, right? So I was a fiction person, right? All my life I've read fiction. Although people say you should read non-fiction, but I enjoy reading fiction. So and those old fictions I really really love, right?
Yeah.
So that's my way of unwinding.
Wonderful. Dr. Deepak Jain, founder, director, India and South Asia Wealth and Financial Trainings for the American Academy of Financial Management, and an absolutely multifaceted person. So good to have you, sir, on my podcast, The Sound of Money.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me there.
Most welcome, and best wishes for the AAFM for the upcoming event. From me, Santosh Sirur, and my guest, Dr. Deepak Jain. Thank you once again for being on my podcast, The Sound of Money. Until we meet our next guest, take care and bye-bye.
The Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.